We are now week 2 without Jay.
You turn this on?
Oh, my bad. Go ahead. You can hear it now?
Finish him.
Yeah, there we go. Loud and direct. I'm going to leave that too. That was raw. Yeah, so week 2 without Jay. She said, it seems like we have a problem. You know what's funny? She sent me a message. And in the message, there was like 9 of them though. And I was like, damn, it was like 5 or 6 thoughts. Like, it was like, hey, look, let me tell you some shit that happened just so that we can write it down. You bring it up later. But I was like, I told her, I said, look, we'll talk about these things when I see you. Yeah, I was sitting up there. I was like, there's so much to unpack here. Right. But, yeah, so week 2 without her. Oh, you know, I want to do this on the top half of the episode without even bringing any music or anything in here. I don't know what Lex is going to say about this because we really didn't get a chance. But like this week in music, way out of order because I don't know how far we're going to go with this. But this was such a big deal like in rap. J.Cole released a new track. What is it called?
Port Antonio?
Yeah, Port Antonio, right? To the point, you know, I hate that, right? When they like name songs now, like it's not catchy and like the name of the song isn't in there for it to be catchy. So for me to remember like 7 a.m. in Dallas, like, come on, fam. That has nothing to do with the actual song. It's just the mood that you're in. But anyway.
Well, you don't know that.
What do you mean? Maybe. It could be actually 7 a.m. in Dallas, but what the fuck does it have to do with you writing?
That's when he wrote it.
You know what? I would finish. I'm gonna finish. But Port Antonio. And although I admire the rapping on there, when we got to the second verse, I asked myself, I said, yo, what is this? Is this a Drake, pat on the back? Like, hey man, go out there, do your thing. Don't worry about what anyone else is saying. Or is this a lesson to the young dudes, right, on how to maneuver? Or is this not a deep reflection? It's not, is what I'm saying. It's not a deep reflection of some shit that I was a part of. Because if I remember correctly, right, when Like That came out, right, I remember listening to that verse and I was like, oh, I know exactly who this guy's talking about. But it was more like, oh, you ain't gonna let him say that to you, right? Preceded by, Cole and Drake having their own responses over time. And I'm sitting here thinking like, damn, well, Cole gave us a nice little light jab. And now in hindsight, when the battle was going on and you've been screaming for the last 2 years that I'm the greatest and I'm the greatest, and I haven't listened to any other publication about this. This is exactly how I felt when they sent it out on Friday. But I was like, yo, this is like such a trash way. This is such a trash way to say that I took the high road. Because you really didn't. And then it was like, yo, if I would have joined the battle, I would have lost a friend. It's like, no, you could have lost a friend and lost the battle at the same time, right? And it ain't like you hanging out with Kendrick in the first place. Kendrick, to our knowledge, just really be hanging out with his homies and anybody who's on his label when he gets a chance to run into him. Right? That's all I could think of. Shit, Dave Free, PG Lang, they're going into all these business exec meetings. And I'm like, yo, like not only has hip hop, mirrored what's going on in our society, I was sitting here thinking like, yo, this is just rap. That's all it was. Besides like whatever the allegedness of the Weeknd's doings, other than that, which had nothing to do with those people involved, this is just rap. And I was sitting here watching the comments and people like, oh, respect Cole and all this. And I was like, it's not that I don't respect him. I just don't want to hear I'm the best or I'm the greatest or whatever and all these things anymore. So yeah, it was a great track. I was just lost in, did you need to even put this out?
I think he needed to put something like that out because I think people, at least some people, are trying to hear how he feels about whatever. Do I agree with everything how he feels? Not necessarily. I think I lean a little bit where you went with it. Because I heard the first verse and was like, oh, this is cool. And the second verse, I was like, oh, I don't know if I would have put that. because I'm sitting there thinking like, damn, if I'm Drake hearing this, I'm like, I don't want to hear this.
Yeah, don't pat me on the back. I was better than you in my mind. No, in my
me.
mind, I was better than you.
Help me get my shit back.
Or join me when we had a chance to like really like have a verbal exchange.
And then don't do it over a Hove sample. You know I don't like him right now.
Yeah.
So those are my first two thoughts. I only heard it a couple times.
It's not something I would drive to. It's one of those, you get the message and that's good.
Well, the rapping's good enough I'll listen to it again. Like I have on my little new rotation, whatever, ever since the beef started, I start that whole thing. So I revisit the whole beef every few weeks. And I run through all the tracks again just because. But and so I probably would have added it into something like that. But yeah, I heard people talking about like, oh, he's saying don't come. I don't want to hear you say you're the best no more, and I get that too. And I think I've heard some people talking about you really do be watching Cops. yeah. And that he said he wouldn't have lost the battle, he would have lost a friend. And I think most people have been taking it as if he said, if I would have jumped in, I would have won, but I didn't want to go that far. I tried to look at it a different angle, like, oh, he's not saying he would have won, but he knows for sure he would have went far enough to where they wouldn't have been cool no more, and that wouldn't have been worth it to him.
Between him and who?
Him and whoever. Anybody involved.
In Kendrick's eyes, they buddy. It's 2 against 1. He was ready to take on the 2-on-1 fate.
Right, and I think that's the problem is the route that Kendrick took, like, obviously Cole can't do that better than him, and there's no other way to really take it unless you're gonna do something that maybe y'all ain't cool no more.
Against your morals.
And it's also because Kendrick really don't be as friendship is lopsided. Maybe not by a whole bunch, but it's like, hey, you cool? You not cool with losing me as a friend? I don't give a fuck. Right. We can be hella cool, and we're still cool now because you went the route you did. But yeah, if you would have jumped in, I would have went all the way there too with you, and I would have been completely fine with it. I don't need to jump on stage and apologize for anything I said. That's the difference right there. And that's why you can't play with somebody like that. Which is why Cole looked as smart as he did as the time went on. Like, hey, you know what? I didn't like how he did it, but he's looking like a genius right now. Now, I think this move right here is kind of like, what are you doing? You're whatever. I probably wouldn't have addressed it like this. I would have just kept it pushing on this album that everyone's been waiting on, and then maybe addressed it.
We all respected him in the moment when he didn't do it, though. It was just that we all said back then, and we still said it now, I want to hear I'm the best. And then don't do this. Wait. Let me get this out. Don't do this. Oh, I know what it's like to chase number one. Yo, fam.
He does, though.
I know that. But don't have a high moral compass now at this moment when the last album you was telling us how you was the greatest.
The thing is, he backed down long enough that the couple feature verses that have been put out in the recent month or whatever, those have been good to me. Like, and he might have sprinkled a little bravado in there.
Like a good sacrifice story.
And I was okay with that. But yeah, this one, maybe if he would have just did
whatever he did it.
One verse and whatever. I just think the two verses together where I think that's what threw me off because I love the first one so much. Clearly, he's honed his craft enough to where that shit is like spit shine polished. Like the way he's grown over the years and his pen and flow and like the whole craft is like, it's noticeable. I guess I just didn't want to hear the second verse like that. Technically as well put together as the second verse is. I think I just wanted to hear that somewhere else. And then again, because you did it on the Hope sample and I was trying to look at it from Drake's point of view, I'm mad.
I like this story in a general sense. That's what I'm saying. So I agree with you in terms of the second verse because it's like, yo, generally speaking, the shit you saying is fire. Then you get on this back half and I was like, yo, this is that whole, mightier than thou thing. Like, yo, you're playing into the light skin jokes all the way through, bro.
And I tried to run it from the angle of like, he's not saying he would have beat Kendrick. He's saying that he does, regardless of the outcome, he would have lost a friend, and that wasn't worth it to him.
Do Cole and Kendrick even have a song together?
They have Forbidden Fruit, but Kendrick's just on the hook, and then Cole produced High Power, but he's not on the song.
So are we really, really good friends? Because that's a 12-year time span.
You don't have to be on each other's music to be good friends.
Yeah, man. But here's the thing, too.
And when you're
Drake
at that caliber...
wrong. Drake is the one that took the shit to the degree that it was. Like, he said, hey, man, don't speak on the family, Crody.
Right.
You're the one that started all this shit. So it's like to sit here and throw Drake a raft, let that man get back up. It shit look crazy though when he was in that little interview thing with on social media, talk about I done lost all my friends and all the people that was supporting me, blah blah blah, and I was like, oh.
No, I'm paying attention.
And I think he has. You know what I hate though in this era is that these kids are beating a dead horse. Because I would like to be able to go listen to a Drake song, listen to a Kendrick song, Cole song, without people not getting past. Just enjoying the music.
Well, on one hand, that is Drake's fault because he never went away long enough for us to miss him in order to do that. He kept dropping shit to where it's like, it's still, you never let it go away.
Yeah, and they funny too. They were like, yeah, he hurt.
If you let it go, I promise you, the way think about how quick the news cycle is, not even just music, just in general, that there be some wild shit that happens that is really like here today, gone tomorrow. We've had, a presidential assassination attempt. We talked about that shit for not very long.
They said there was another one in California when you
right, and we were just like,
I don't even think that made the news, dog. I just looked at it the other day.
We didn't believe the first one. We're just not even going to acknowledge this. You know what I mean? But like, shit be like really big things that just 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that would have dominated the news cycle for a lot longer, to where everything is so quick that like you don't even have to take that much time off.
Yeah.
But you didn't even let the summer breathe. And you were jumping in saying, oh, I'm gonna, fuck this battle. I'm gonna just get back to the summer shit. And you tried. You kept dropping shit.
We do that with women though.
Whatever we do.
When she said she wants space, let you be at the house on a lonely night. Hey, what you up to here doing?
I'm just saying you
can't leave that thing alone.
You gotta let it breathe sometimes.
Nah, look, man, that shit ain't breathing. You know how it is. We've all been lusting for something at some point. I know,
but there's something to
women, money, politics.
But there's something to letting somebody miss you.
That's a very hard trait to do.
I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying
we come to this pod every week. We don't even let the people miss us.
We do.
Nah, maybe one.
We miss 1 week, we get cussed out.
And then we feel like an obligation to get back here, unspoken. Let's go ahead and start the pod. Fuck it. Now, 200 episodes in, we've never taken a pre-intro that long before.
Yeah, we have.
Yes. I want to welcome you all to the You Wasn't Outside podcast on the Grown Folks Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, not doing the most normal ass Carl. To my front, I have my man at Just Lex. And then we also got Carl Juicy and J.
Just Lex.
In spirit. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, this is episode 188. Anyway.
I think it was 189.
I wanted to have like the type of pod that we was having at the top end, because I'm about to get into some straight funny shit. So I wanted y'all, I wanted to decoy y'all to think that, oh, they was just going to talk about heavy shit the whole 45, 50 minutes.
What's that heavy shit? Oh, he ain't moving no way. Look how tiny that little thing is.
Yeah. And if you hear commentary from us, we're trying something new, right? We're watching cops in the background while we're speaking. And they definitely just pulled over a man, actually a whole host of friends together.
Oh, you know what it is?
In a Ford F-150. It's the Whites. She got an ankle monitor on. Another dude was in there eating gummy bears while the police was talking to him. I said, yeah,
that's not distribution to sell.
They're guaranteed high.
When you carry that tiny joint with you.
Oh, here we go. Law corner with Lex.
When you carry
law library?
No, this ain't law library. When you carry the tiny scale, that's for when you purchase, because you want to make sure you didn't get skimped. He ain't moving no weight. Let him go.
And that's Law Facts. Law Facts by Lex. Oh, man. It might even turn into a district attorney real fast. Yo, man. So it was a hectic week for me, man. So I don't even know if I can even say this. They told me in the call not to say it. Let's see if they search me or not. We'll see if the feds is watching me. I got to share a wall with a neighbor. And a couple of weeks ago, I noticed that there was water on my baseboard. And told y'all before, like around Super Bowl, I already had to remodel my whole downstairs of my house. So then I buy a big ass fan from, Home Depot. I touched the baseboard after a day or two. It was dry. Took it back. But I'm noticing the water stain keeps moving up, right? And I'm like, yo, that's weird. Like, and it's coming from the floor, though. So it's not coming from above. Now, I had a handyman come by maybe about a month ago, change something out, and I just thought water dropped. And it was just in the back, like a little bit, because he was, upstairs. So my wife, the other day, she's like, man, you didn't try all this shit. Go ask the neighbors if they got a leak. Doop, doop, doop. Hey, and it's a Filipino lady. I'm like, hey, an older Filipino lady. Hey, it's 9:30 too, so you already know they cracking the door open, scared and everything. Y'all got a leak over there? Nah, we ain't got no leak. She was in a hurry to get off the door with me. I come back. 20 minutes go by. Ding dong, ding dong. Oh yeah, it's wet over here. Okay, that's crazy. Like, how the fuck you not know this shit like beforehand? So the next
she had to brainstorm and gather what was actually going to be talked about.
Yeah, so now she's like, oh, I don't want to involve insurance. I'm sure you don't. No one does during this time, right? And I definitely don't want to do it twice. I've already had this problem. And now I feel like it's you, though, because all my plumbing's new down here. So
you said that?
Nah, I ain't gonna say it like that. Hell nah. Because depending on the outcome, I gotta stay on the good side, right? So with that being said, she's like, yo, so what are we gonna do? I said, oh, you want me to take point? There's no man in the house over there, right? It's just a bunch of, I don't know if it's family members or whoever is in training programs at Concord University, but it's somebody over there that be wearing scrubs. So I said, all right, I'll call the plumber. Call the plumber. He like, look, man, I don't know what to tell you. He was like, I can't find it anywhere. You had to get a leak specialist. I didn't even know there was a such thing. Right? So
sounds expensive. Whatever the I ain't heard of that.
Oh, I'm gonna get to that part too. So I said, okay. I call a water mitigation company because I knew what happened last time this happened. All this water here is in the walls. We're gonna have to get a mitigation company.
Mold.
Yes. And so they come in, right, that day after the plumber comes. He tells me his homie can't come until the next day. So somewhere this water's just going, right? And he was like, I don't want to cut into the wall. He was like, without knowing exactly if I need to. Water mitigation company come out. They hit the little triggers on my house. They're like, all right. We go over to her house. She let me in. Big ass wet stain underneath the kitchen sink. I'm like, fam, you didn't see this shit? Then I noticed the couch was in front of the bar. I was like, yeah, that's probably why. And you got the original carpeting that's in here from 85. You know what color it was.
Hey.
That nasty burgundy, right? So she got that in there. And my man says he does the reading around the thing. That shit reading off like 80, 90, 100% water there. I said, this shit coming from over here. I was like, I don't know where the fuck it is, but it's on this side. So I start feeling better. Instantaneously, because in my mind, I'm like, yo, shit, if it's me, then I got to cover me and her for liability if they even see it that way. So now she like, so what we gonna do? I started, in my mind, I'm backpedaling. Like, I don't know what you about to do, fam, but we got different plans. So then she's like, I don't want to do anything until I know. I don't even think it's in the walls. I'm like, that shit's somewhere. It ain't underneath the sink. They're going to cut this wall open. So the next day, the leak detector dude comes out. This dude, he got some little machine that looked like a metal detector with headphones on. That's why I thought this shit was crazy, because I didn't know the science was like this. He go in her house. He was like, oh, I found it. Yeah. Nah, he can hear the spray of the water.
It's over here.
Yeah, but then he come over to our house, right? And I got the little white noise machine on because the kids asleep. He's like, hey, can we turn that down? He said, I don't hear nothing over here.
She over there fucking your shit up.
Yeah. But anyway, I ain't heard from her after that. After they found her shit, they cut that wall for a few hours, turned it off, been hiding ever since.
Yeah, we just gonna move.
She don't want me to call. She don't even want me to say nothing. And it was like, nah, I ain't going out like that, ma'am. I just spent X amount of dollars on a lot of money, 5 digits, on fixing up my kitchen, and you got all this water in here. About to take care of this. I ain't gonna tell you what my move was after that, but that has been like the whole highlight of my week, and it has been jacking me up ever since. But shout out to the metal detector dudes out there finding shit. Boy said it was like he said it was like a strand of hair coming out. I said, oh, if that's the case, this shit been going on for a minute. And that means it was on that side for a minute. So I hate to see what happens or what becomes of this. Now, you could tell that I've been working with the law for a while because I semi told this story in a fashion to where if this ever came back to bite me, I wasn't specific about anything, and I plead the fifth. But anyway, Lex, what's good, man? What you up to?
Man, it's been a busy week. I think I was just distracting myself, getting ahead of some stuff, but I also got like planned out a few things to actually look forward to next year. Just to get some shit done. Oh. And
that's kind of crazy.
Jumping in front.
A fucking zebra popping out of an apartment complex is crazy. Go ahead.
And then football. Football was interesting this week because I
saw y'all ranked.
Yeah.
In California?
No, that was just a list of games to watch for the week. That wasn't our
in
rank.
California.
In all of California, all divisions.
That's pretty good.
No, it was. And because the team who is kind of looked at as like, oh, they're probably ranked, which is Oceanside, they lost to Skyline on Saturday. And now we're the only remaining undefeated team.
In California?
And Pop Warner 8U. And, yeah, so... And we, every week I find out more bullshit about the rules of this league, and it upsets me further. And as much as I really think like, hey, you know what? We talk a lot of shit about the kids being soft and whatever. And I kind of made mention of this before, but now I got to like really just kind of double down. It's the parents.
Yeah.
Like this generation is soft.
Oh, yeah.
But
we know a lot too, and we can
know
Google
a lot,
everything.
and we can try to get the balance of not being too hard but not like completely softening them up. But like, every week I come in here and talk about this rule that I didn't know, and it's like whatever, and it's all centered around not beating nobody down completely to where, feelings is getting hurt. And so the rule I found out this week was, the whole season we've been getting docked points and we've been getting penalized. Every time you beat somebody by more than 28 points, they dock a point from you. So we're looking at this ranking.
Oh, that's why you was figuring out last week why the score was off?
No, that's different. No, not points on the board. Like points for like your playoff seeding. Because I'm looking, I was like, how the fuck are we seeded number 3? We're undefeated. There's 3 undefeated teams. We've put up way more points than them. We've given up less points. And the only team that's better or that has a better record is Temecula because they haven't had a bye week. And so they're 7-0, we're 6-0. That's the only difference. How are we ranked number 3? And then we see all this red, and they've been docking us points for every time we've been up by more than 28 points. And I'm like, that's fucking crazy. So half the coaches is mad, the other half is like, yo, it don't matter, because if we don't lose, it don't really matter what seed we are. But I'm like, yo, and I mean...
I kind of want to play the worst seed, though, if I'm number 1.
But it's also like, fuck me, because I'm not driving right now, but... It's also kind of annoying having to drive to all these places when we don't have to because we'd be ranked number 1. We've only had 2 home games the whole season. I'm not scared to play on the road. I don't like commuting an hour away.
So you're saying you making it worse by like I need to be ranked number 1 to make it worth it.
Because the people who are ranked higher than us are Oceanside and Temecula. I don't want to go all the way up there if we don't have to. Are we going to lose? No. But I don't want to have to go up there at 6:30 in the morning. It's not like we play anything before 8, before 9. We got to be up there like 6:30 in the morning.
Damn.
And so we found that out during that game. They announced, hey, Oceanside lost to Skyline today. And I was like, oh, that takes care of one of them. And we're going to beat down Temecula because that's another thing about the parents, right? Once we saw that little list ranking of games to watch, we got fired up because like, oh, like they noticing us. We got the kids fired up. But then we're like, we know Temecula's a bunch of frauds because we scrimmaged them at the very beginning of the season. We dog walked them then. But they're like, oh, but everyone's like, yeah, but it's been a whole. They got so much better over the season. So did we. Why? So we just stayed the same? No, we gonna beat them even worse. But then, so underneath that post that I posted, you know, there's a lot of Temecula got some active parents, and they're over here like, yeah, we're unbeatable. This and even the dude who runs the account, they were saying we're unbeatable, this and that, and he said, hey, you might want to hold off on that one. And the parents are just doing this, doing that, right? And so we kept this for most of the week, but I knew because once the game was about to start, I went over to our section of moms and I told them about the point thing where we're ranked number 3. And then I told them about this post and I told them about all the parents, right? Because it got them fired up. And they were the loudest they've been all season, right? And that was the most dominating game we've had the whole time. They didn't get one first down.
Who'd y'all play?
Temecula.
Oh, so you did play them again?
We played them. Yeah, that was a scrimmage. They avoided us all season, and now they had to play us.
When?
On Saturday.
Oh, yes. 2 days ago.
Yeah, so they played us. We waited the whole game. We won 36-0. And after that, all the moms jumped in those comments and started replying to all the moms on that side and got real spicy.
Yeah, it did. You don't talk about their babies. Yo.
And it was just like, hey. And then the parent, you know, people are getting their feelings hurt, and it'd be the parents.
Right.
And I just thought it was funny. And it made it a little more sweet to me because I found out somebody that ain't fucking with me no more. Their kid plays for Temecula, and I seen it, and I was like, oh, what are they doing here? And then I noticed, oh, you guys live in Temecula now. I seen the kid over there, so it felt good, like, oh, we got to stomp on him as well.
And you got to look, and you got to look at me.
And the thing was, like, we was mad cool, like we were close. And so because I didn't end the situation the way it ended, I wasn't like, oh, I'm not going to go up there and say what up. Because his whole family was there. I love his whole family, but I wasn't going to do nothing because I don't know the situation.
Right.
So, but it's like, you can't miss me. Like, I'm walking around on the field with my last name on the back of my shirt, big ass letters.
Ain't too many of y'all.
You can't. I'm walking with black children. I'm in Eastlake,
and 99.9% match.
It's me. And I walked past them before I knew it was them. I walked past them directly.
I know who this person is.
Yeah, I walked past them directly in the line of sight. And then once I realized, okay, like they would have called me out if it was like that. So I was like, it's been some time, but it's like I haven't really changed a whole bunch. You know, it's me. You just didn't want to do nothing, and that's cool too. Whatever. I guess I'll find out later once I hit my other man's up if that becomes a topic of conversation. I'm not really stressed about it. I just thought it was interesting. But yeah. So I mean, shit, we almost done. We about to get these playoffs out the way. And
you gonna take a break?
No, I think we have a tournament afterwards to where we're going to start playing some other states.
Oh.
And we're going to really find out how good we are.
Yeah, you are.
Because
until you start going down.
Because over here it's been pretty easy, and it's not like the kids aren't good and they don't deserve it or whatever.
Is there weight in yours?
No, it's age. Weight, I think, is youth football.
But y'all got some big boys that's fast?
We got some kids who are 8 that don't look 8 and are a little whatever. But all the teams we played, we seem like, man, these are some big motherfuckers, right?
It don't matter.
And they're big for nothing. They scared, whatever, this and that. And that's the thing too. When it comes to the parents, I get hyped up. I'll talk my shit. But if we get hit, I'll shut the fuck up.
Right.
And they won't be a thing. Because on the flag football side, that happened to me 2 weeks ago. We scrimmaged them the day before, and I was like, oh, this is going to be easy. They showed up with a whole new team, a 16-year-old, all this and that, and they murdered us. And the whole first half, I was like, don't even trip. Second half, I'll shut the fuck up. But, yeah, other than that, just got to get through October, and I have some other things on the horizon. And, yeah, I'm chilling.
There you go. Well, fuck it. Hit my hand claps, man. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and knock out this fucking episode then. 32 minutes in. I told you that beginning was all I needed. Random shit to fill in time. Hey, do you think STUDS should be able to pay full price at clubs?
should be able to.
Like not be like they like you think they should.
Do they not?
Nah, I seen some things where it was like, yo, why do or like, do you think they should though? Like if they had a gripe, if they was like, yo, ladies free before 20.
Oh, and then they said, but not you. Yeah, I know it says ladies free, but not you.
Yeah. Like, do you think that's fair?
I mean, I would understand the gripe. Like, it's not like they're, hey, I identify as a man. It's like, no, I just like women.
The hard part is, though, right?
Because I would get kind of
technical. When you wear male clothing, then, right, this is where the ignorance is going to come, but I want to be a little more edgy, right? But if you're wearing male, here's the hard part for me in this era. There will be women that dress like men, right? When I say women, I mean in terms of like gender, right? And they haven't had any surgeries or anything else. But they dress like men. But then some will say, oh, I'm still a female. Some will say, oh, you know, some will identify as being a man, right? Like in terms of maybe trying to grow out a beard traditionally, right? I'm serious, man. They take hormone pills and shit like that. Mm-hmm. I'm watching Love After Lockup right now. There's the shit, and I want to say that like he identifies as a man too. So Key Rock go out and you can't really tell because Key Rock probably wears like a bodysuit, but he also takes hormones. But like you can tell he looked just like I don't want to say it out loud because they ever listen. He looked dead on like him, right? And so I'm like, yo, man, that's crazy. But if Key Rock was in line, I'd be like, nah, Key Rock got to play full price.
No, I
because if we're all after the same thing in here,
I understand that. But that's why I would get real like if I was the stud, I would get real technical and lawyer with it. Like you have to be specific.
I got something
because I fall into the category of ladies free. You have to say like fine women, and even that's subjective and that's tiptoeing on line. But like if you just say ladies free, and I'm walking up with a vagina, I fall in line with that. I understand that you're gonna give me a hard time about it, and I know logically how you got there. But I'm getting in this club for free.
I think here's the thing. This is crazy. I wish I could clip this up without it being crazy, but I'm not. Here's the thing. If we're all after the same thing in this club, then you are therefore like a hunter with us, so hunters gotta pay 20. Right,
I understand.
Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, but I'm saying that in a like very like stupid ass terms so that it makes sense because that's what we going there for.
Well, exactly. That's what ladies getting free is for.
Right.
The problem is there is this loophole, and that is y'all fault.
But if you went out and dressed like a woman and said, "Hey, look, I identify as one," see, this is where the role.
That's different because the studs still identify as women. And so if it was roles reversed, I would dress like a woman but still identify as a man.
They are women, you mean is what you're saying, right?
Huh?
They are. Excuse me, they are women.
No, I'm talking about they would still identify as a woman. They just like women.
So you're telling me you understand like the double standard?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I understand it. Because
because there's a difference between a trans, like a woman who wants to be a man and wants to go do everything she can to be a man versus a woman who identifies as a woman but dresses like a man and wants to be a man in the relationship, but is still a woman.
I wish I had a good relationship with a stud because I want to ask those questions. Like, there's so much that I want to unpack there.
Best dress.
Because what is it about dressing? And this is for my listeners too. So you know, some of y'all be DMing me. I really want to know, right? And I want to have these tough ass conversations because it's like, yo, if you present as a man to me, but still claim lay claim to female qualities, you see where it gets real confusing for me.
For you, yes, but I'm talking about like there is a difference. They are two different types. There's one who wants to be a woman, but is gonna present as a man, and because they want to be the man in a relationship and they want to pull women, a certain type of woman, and all that. But it's like, no, I'm cool. I'm cool with being a girl. And then there's some that's like, yo, I'm not a woman. I am a man. I am trapped in a woman's body. I'm going to do everything I can to become a man.
I'm with you, and then I'm sort of not, but that's a hard one for me. That's why I chose it in the first place, because I was like, yo, this is a difficult conversation to have. I really feel like if we're going after the same thing in this spot, or See, this is where you can get in trouble if you said some shit like dresses get in free. You get what I'm saying? Like now it's like, oh, well, I mean, it's your establishment. You can do whatever you
Right.
want to, I guess, at that point. I don't know if there's any California laws that say the otherwise, but yeah. I think you should pay the $40. Lex said, you know what? You should be able to stay claimed to whatever you are, whoever you are when you get to the door.
Look, it's just part of the game, right? Hey, I've been in establishments where they were hogging all the women.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, whether they pay it or not.
I've also been in establishments where we paid that money as nothing but men in there.
That too.
Oh,
Which
man.
is why they
Clubs
try
should
to
have a peephole.
It's why they try to do the ladies free because
It's an incentive to come in.
we know we're gonna get a bunch of dudes here.
Right.
And we need them to stay here. Because
wonder
if
what
it's a bunch of dudes, they're gonna leave. But if there's women here, they will stay and they will keep spending money. We need the women in here so money is spent.
Yeah.
Whether on them or to get the courage to go speak to them.
Have you ever wondered where they be living at?
Who?
I be wondering,
Studs?
like, when,
I'm about to say.
that's the funniest shit I heard the whole week. Who, the Studs? That's gonna be the title right there.
The Stud Finder.
Who
Just like your man in the wall. Your man came with the wall, the Stud Finder.
Who the Studs is crazy. No, I'm saying like, yo, when I go out to spots, I be wondering like where people be living at. Like, yo, like, oh, you live in. I be playing this
you
game.
don't judge them?
Yeah.
You definitely live in Spring
City.
Valley.
Yeah. Well, see, when I used to go to, what's that spot that used to be Round Table in La Mesa? Off of University. Anyway, the girl, Joltin' Joe's. When I would go to Joltin' Joe's and you get in there on a Friday night, I know they all live somewhere in that little vicinity. And some of them houses, you could tell. A few of them had a few kids. Look, a few of them looked like they walked out of there, out of their house from across the street, went over there, had a few drinks, danced, and went back and made sure their kids was okay. Like I'm telling you, like I was like, oh, it's rough in here. It's my kind of place. My kind of place, a little rough in here. I like to see stuff like that. All right, in your experience between yourself, your friends, women that you've observed, right? Who falls in love faster, men or women? Or would you say they're about at the same rate?
I think it's about the same rate from what I've seen.
I think I will say that joke later on off mic. But I think, in my experience, I feel like men fall in love faster. We're just not going to admit it to our friends.
That's fair.
When the homies' behavior start changing, and I seen how you were with like the Booger Wolves, but here you just start disappearing, I'm like, oh yeah, he in love. And the cool thing is like, as I've gotten older, like you don't see it as much because we all kind of do our own things. I realized the other day, I was like, yo, I ain't really got that many friends I just be hanging out with all the time now. Just dudes I talk to on the phone every once in a while. But other than that, I was like, So the disappearing act of watching your homie just like fall off the map, like I haven't observed that in a long time.
But I don't think, not every man acts like that though. Not everybody falls off the map.
Yeah, they do. It's like you get you a girl or whatever. Like, well, especially like in the spaces I would see people. Like I would see people in clubs and shit like that, or out at events. So it's like now I'm not at the events. I'm that person that we're talking about.
But it's falling off the map because you get a girl versus falling off the map because you got a whole ass family now. That's different,
right?
It's like, yeah, you in love, but it's also like, I got a bunch of shit going on.
Right.
I kind of have to be off the map.
Yeah, but everybody else around you is not doing the same thing anymore either, though.
Right, because they all kind of got the same situation, more or less. And
like, if you had 2 free days, what are you going to do?
You know, I've been thinking about this.
The best part, I spent 2 hours putting this episode together. Trust me, I put a lot of love and care in this shit.
And I don't know if, because I haven't gone through, you know, that whole quote unquote tell all situation. I kind of stopped after the jail thing and I never really picked it back up. But things are going to be a little different coming up again. And I've kind of wanted to, I can't really save it because I don't know when I'm just going to keep talking about it and get it all caught up to the current. But I want to focus on kind of going back to not where I was specifically, but kind of cultivating or recultivating stuff that I already have that I've kind of either neglected or I just haven't had the time for one reason or another. So because like I become a dad and I'm just 100% focused and we fall into the situation where it's like, I don't really see these people like I want to, or like when I do have the time, I want to use that time to be, a better uncle, a more present friend, neighbor, etc. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Towards like, I got some free time and I'm not really tied down to anything to where I can kind of get away. I can come pop up. Come fuck with you for a minute, stay for dinner or whatever, say what's up to the kids, play a board game, go wherever. Just kind of like randomly, not to where it's like, I see them on birthdays or whatever. It's like I could pop up every now and then, you know what I mean? And just kind of be a little more present like I thought I would be back in the day when we kind of saw some of the shit playing out.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that too, like, because I had another question in here, which was, like, in the last year, how many new friends have you made? But then when you start saying shit like that, it's like, it's not that, like, I do hang out with people and shit like that, but it's usually doing the things that I like to do. So that by the time, that's why I asked you, would you do it like 2 free days? Because like technically yesterday and today, I had 2 free days for the first time in a long time. And I spent that just being in the house. I didn't even want to be bothered. Like that shit felt amazing.
I mean, that's cool too, especially if you don't know when the next 2 free days is coming.
Right.
So I think that's what happens, right? When you have that type of schedule and you get a free day, there probably could be something you could fill it with to be productive, but you're just like, I don't know when I'm going to get this again, so I'm going to try to do nothing. And I think that's fine too. But I think if you get into the routine where you kind of have a scheduled free day, that's kind of more what I was speaking on. Like, I'm going to try to use that to my advantage, because as we get older, it's only going to get worse and harder to kind of keep everything up with whoever you had in your life already.
Right.
And, I've seen these charts where you have these windows of time where you like see people, and it's frequent. As you get older, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And so trying to like, these shows that we all watching, they ain't going nowhere. Like TV ain't going nowhere. Like, I'm trying to read more books again. Those aren't going nowhere. So I'm trying to be, and I try to pop up on the phone as much as I can, but I'd rather be in person.
Do you feel like, because, when we were younger, I felt like I spent...
Getting his shit off.
Yeah, so whoever it is, he pissed off. I felt like when we was younger, dog, like we spent more time going to other people's houses. Like, I distinctively remember, like, think about it. Your kids got cousins and shit like that. How many of them spend the night at your house?
It's been a while.
You know what I mean? How many times they spend the night at their cousins' houses?
Not often.
By this age of where our kids are right now, I done been at my aunt's house several times, like in a quarter. But now it's like our kids are like, we hang around our kids all the time. And I wonder if it's one of those things, like for the present parents that are out here, I'm noticing, like you said, that soft mentality also comes with being coddled all the time. Right? Like I noticed too, there's more parents at parks than there were when we were kids. Like, fam, I would just go to the park or whatever, and it would just be other kids that lived in the neighborhood there. We be really watching our kids like they dogs in the yard.
That comes with the information we got, because it's like we kind of got to.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't know if that's contributing to them being soft. I don't want to put that on it.
I'm not saying that, I'm just saying
but it's like, yeah, we have less time to do whatever, because we spent the studies that came out, our generation of, I don't know if it's parents or dads specifically, we spend 3 times more time with our kids than our parents did.
For real? Did they say why?
I didn't look into it, but I assume there's multiple factors. I think one of them is like, hey, we're all trying to be more present because we didn't have that. we do come from a generation of not a whole lot of a lot of single parent households, and we're trying to, I think, not overcompensate for that, but compensate to a certain degree for that. And I know, at least in my therapy, a lot of the shit I do to my kids, it comes back to, oh, you're just doing what you wanted, what you would have wanted as a kid.
That's
From
what
a
I'm
dad,
saying. Like
you're doing that to your kids, and so you don't see this as being wrong.
I don't think I wanted to be around my parents though as a kid all the time.
No, I get it, but sometimes you do. Sometimes you don't know, or sometimes like you, fortunately, didn't have the opportunity to know the difference, right? So, on one hand, and sometimes it hits you late, right? Because you get into that survival mode, and I'm gonna try not to darken this too much, but it's like I felt the same way, right? I'm like, oh, you know what? She trying to tell me all this shit about my mom, this and that, but like I had all the homies. I didn't want her to be outside with me and, you know, throwing salt in my game and just being around, just, you know, being a bugaboo. But then as I break everything down, it's like, oh, well, I did miss out on a lot of other shit. Now, maybe I didn't want her outside all day, every day, watching me do whatever. But there is a lot of stuff. And I'm not just put it all on her. I'm going to put it on him too, which is like, there is a lot of stuff and a lot of events and a lot of time that it is appropriate towards like, you probably should have been there doing this or doing something. And that just wasn't there. And so those are the things that it's like, hey, that's going to change.
Yeah, but here's where I retort to. I feel like, yeah, and I guess we are old now, right? Or I'm considered, you know, damn near close to middle aged, right? But it's like, when we were younger, I felt like we had way more hands-on experiences, right? To where, like, I just knew things because you had to go and work things out. You couldn't just look them up real quick, right? Like, you had to figure out your own problems, how to take a tire off a bike. Like, right now, if you handed G a socket wrench, would he even know what to do with it? You know what I mean? Like I used to go bury myself in my dad's tools to go fix shit. You know, like these, like I don't see kids doing shit like that outside WD-40 and, you know, they bike wheel and shit like that. Like, you know how many simple questions I get asked every day? And I'm like, you know, there's an inquisitiveness about this. I get what you're asking me, but also at the same time, it's like, yo, some of these things I just figured out. And so what has me the most afraid is that when these kids get older, things were so much handed to them that they're not going to know how to totally figure things out if we continue on this path.
Right. And I had that same kind of train of thought before. And I don't know if it was as like simple as like some of the things you're talking about versus it was like, you know, some deeper issues to where I was like, hey, if they're always coming to me and I always have the answer, then they're just going to keep coming to me and they're going to be dependent. They're not going to figure shit on their own. Like I really went at it. And it was more so like trying to trust the process of like, hey, there's going to be an appropriate time and place. Like, yeah, maybe you had to figure some shit out and you figured it out at an age that wasn't necessary. You had to, you know, we hear this term like, oh, he had to grow up fast. She had to grow up fast. And a lot of that is we take those experiences and we weaponize them against our kids. Like, man, when I was 6, I was doing this, doing that, damn near raising myself. And it's like, oh, that's cool. But you weren't supposed to be doing that. And so if you just be there to constantly nurture them, and yeah, they ask a million questions a day. And some of them you're like, yo, please try to figure the shit out first before you come ask me. I think there's a little bit of a balance there that can be struck to where there will come a time and place, an appropriate time and place to where they will be figuring the shit out on their own. They won't need you as much. And they're going to be fine.
We're the only mammal that spends this much time with our young, though.
But we're also the most advanced mammal.
Who's next to us? Who's number 2?
Dolphins.
That's so crazy. That's so crazy to me. That's wild. Not apes?
I mean, it might be, but I feel like everything I've seen or read, it's dolphins. Dolphins might be smarter than us, actually. They just don't have some of the... I mean, if you want to talk about, like... I mean, obviously, dolphins are in the water, so
Right.
it's different. So on
Which
land,
I feel like is a huge disadvantage.
so on land, yeah, sure, apes, but I'm 100% in the Planet of the Apes. So see, when Caesar takes this shit over, I'm trying to make sure I'm on their good side. I'm not one of the bad ones.
Oh man, I got so many terrible jokes for that I'm just gonna leave alone. Let me ask. I wanted to do this with Jay, but you know what? Can't wait forever. Nothing wrong with it. If she listened to it, she can.
What is it, dated?
Bring it back in. No, this is. If your job asked you to do something that was against your moral code.
Oh, you could have held that.
What you mean?
I mean, I thought it was something that you just
No,
you could have waited for.
You want me to wait? I'll wait.
You can. If you said you
I
want
want
to
you to
do
think about it. Have the listeners think about it too, because then
All
I'll have a nice twist for you guys next week.
All right.
So for next week, I want y'all to think about if your job asked you to do something that was against your moral code, would you do it? Right? Like in your core of cores, right? And then I'm going to tell you what the catch is in this situation, because oh man, it's a hell of a catch too. So tune in next week. Hit my hand claps.
I'm pretty sure most of my moral cores was.
Fun facts. I want to spit this off since he started talking about dolphins and shit. Pigs are smarter than dogs and can learn more tricks. Studies show.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, with bacon being smart and everything, you still not gonna fuck with the swine?
Never.
Well, when did you stop eating pork?
After I read no, I'm playing.
The autobiography of Malcolm X.
Nah,
Alex Haley edition.
Yeah, it was a combination of just reading. This coming on after cops, crazy.
Yeah.
Reading certain rap that I listened to, and just a lot of cultural things that I saw, that it just made sense to me as I started doing things to kind of switch up my diet, right? I got to a point in my life where I was like, yo, I spent all these years trying to be tan, trying to be buff, trying to do all this shit, right? And I know I wasn't going about it all the way correct, the way they can kind of get it down to a science nowadays. But like when I was younger and a kid and teenager, I'm just like, yo, there's something like to genetics. And, yes, there's white privilege that comes through on so many levels. But there is a black privilege too, right? And at least in my opinion, I think it comes through in genetics. And so to me, like I would sit here and be like, yo, I be actually like working out all the time. And what the fuck? And I look at like a lot of my homies when I was younger are lazy as fuck. They do like 6 push-ups and they are cut the fuck up. And I was big hating all the time. All the time. And so I just felt like I had to do twice the work to get half the results, at least in that arena, to where once I started trying to take certain things to the next level, or not even just on that, where when I gave up, like, all right, man, my body frame, it just ain't, I'm not built to be like that. I just gotta be one of them skinny dudes that is, is stronger than they look or whatever. But when I started switching up the diet, when I got into like my mid-20s, I was like, all right, it's not just about working out. Like the diet is it starts to overtake working out. Like being active is always important, but diet becomes more and more important as you age. I was trying to explain that to the kids last week because I'm like, yo, like all this shit. They be telling me what they eat. I ask them what they eat for lunch at school every day.
Yeah.
God damn, that shit sounds like a fucking problem for me. They would mix chocolate milk and apple juice with the pizza slice and a fucking plum. And I'm like, yo, you did all that at one time? And you just ran around in the heat and played soccer for 35 minutes? What the fuck?
Look how much you know. Yeah. We did shit like that.
No, I'm saying like, yeah, that used to be me too.
We used to do suicides at the...
after drinking a Pepsi. Like, I get it.
Remember, what they call that? A suicide where you would get all of them together?
Get all of them together.
You ain't never mixed all the sodas at the...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. I understand that part. What I'm saying is, once you get to the point, like, yo, I can't do that no more. You know, when you first went out and played and you got sore, like, oh, shit, I got to stretch now? It's like that, right? And so I had to...
You've been old forever.
No, I have been old for a long time.
I never thought about that shit.
So
like,
it was
started hurting
easy.
today.
Cutting pork out my diet was easy, one, because pork, objectively for me, is the easiest meat to cut out in general, right? And for me,
I don't fuck with either. Once you read the nutrition facts on it.
and before all that, it was the easiest to do that. You know, I kind of ran with the whole like being a 5%er and just, you know, the whole religious reasons. Like I run with that narrative, but it's also like, because it's, you know, for the joke, but at the same time, I was like, oh, I can actually do this. Like at the end of the day, the last thing that really was, I don't want to say hard to do, but just wasn't happening was I was still eating pepperoni on pizza. And but pork wasn't bad to put off. And then once I started reading about it, I was like, oh, this shit is fucked up.
You, because your mom probably used to make pork chops and shit.
Pork chops, you know, bacon, all that shit. And I was just like, I'm not too big on bacon and shit like that is anyway, so I can cut it out.
Yeah, we started eating turkey.
I turned into hot dogs to turkey dogs and shit like that, so it was easy. And then as I got more in the know, I was like, oh, this shit just, you know, they weren't lying. This shit is not meant to be digested in your system.
Right.
This is fucked up. And then when you go a step deeper, and then you do take the, you know, the historical route of just like even soul food in general, right? Where, you know, y'all was making the best of a bad situation. We ain't supposed to be eating this shit.
No, you're right.
It just tastes good because of how we cook it up.
It's funny coming from you.
Right, I know, but I'm saying, like, I listen to that shit and it's like, oh, that makes sense.
Oh,
but it's also
man.
like, yeah, like, as much as I love, like, I'll go to the soul food spot and it'll hit, but 10 minutes later, like, I'm done.
You know what's crazy about you saying that? So Corey had her first basketball game on Saturday, or second basketball game. I didn't miss the first one. But she had her basketball game, and we're not in the greatest of neighborhoods right now where we live at, right? But where she plays at is definitely not one of the greatest of neighborhoods, right? And I noticed that the snacks was different from what we get from dance and what we get from, you know, baseball and shit. So there was like a thing of Sunny D in there. And I was like, yo, you're not touching that. You know what I mean? It's some bullshit ass candy. I was like, yo, you're not touching that. It's crazy how much information can change your perspective. So you're right? Like in my childhood, like, yo, maybe someone was supposed to be there like, yo, you're not supposed to be doing that. Because even now, like, she eat a lot of chicken, broccoli and stuff. We give all those servings out now early. To where my kids don't eat fried chicken. They don't even know that that's a black person thing.
My kids don't drink soda and they look at other kids weird when they don't want water.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing to have them, and they've been doing that since they was like 4
we're
or
so
5.
late as a society on catching on that shit with the ice caps melting at the
I know,
sun.
but I'm saying like that's important because now it's like, oh, like I know people our age that had to like really, really, they struggle with water intake because they're just like, yo, I need some type of taste. I can't do it. Yeah. And it's like it's a chore for them to get the water they need.
My mother-in-law drinks those little now she drink the little Sprites. She bring one with her every time.
Yeah, and the thing is, I didn't, you know, around the same time of the whole thing, like I cut soda out my diet too, and I was only using it to cut a drink.
Yeah, I did. I cut soda. I used juice to cut soda, and then now I drink water to cut juice.
And
that just all happened naturally. Of like, as I've gotten older, I got a phobia of like catching any of these problems that people have if I can prevent them.
And then nowadays, every now and then I'll have a soda, and that's just to keep myself in check to see how I feel.
Yeah.
But
I can have one at Thanksgiving.
Right, but yeah, I'm doing it for a purpose, not just because, oh, it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm not going straight to Mountain Dew.
No.
Matter of fact, I prefer diet soda now.
But I do like what you were talking about when you say the different types of snacks depending on where you at. I do pay attention to that because we go to all different parts of the city. I look at that. I look at whose mom is in charge of bringing the after the game snacks
and what they look like.
Not necessarily for Pop Warner because they're all kind of like from the same neighborhood. But like when we go to some of the like the flag games, there's a bigger range of socioeconomic statuses where I'm like, all right.
Got it.
And then I know how I get down, right? Like when it's our time for the dinner, I'm like, shit. I can't do what y'all just did with this big ass spread. Y'all might get some of this.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, but I do look at it because, I try to help my own ego out. Like someone got to be struggling.
But you're not buying bullshit. Like for example, are you buying the pretzels with the cheese dip things? Like I feel like those is bullshit too. Best processed cheese.
I stopped doing that. I
never bought those.
I think 10 years ago. No, for a minute, those were fire to me. You take that little red stick, you spread it
Or
on a
even
little
the
cracker.
pizza with the solar thing underneath it. My wife bought some, and I was like, "Why'd you bring these?
No.
Like, why do you even have these in here?"
But, like, I
ate
know-
one the other night, and I was like, "Yo, this is disgusting. Why the fuck did I eat this shit back in the
But
day?"
our whole household, when we're doing the after the game snacks, we definitely have like the healthiest spread of like we don't put no bullshit in there.
Yeah,
Down to the point where she don't even let him drink red Gatorade no more because there's a specific dye in the red one
yeah.
that's like whatever. And I'm like, I'm always down for some shit like
Man,
that.
it's so crazy that our parents never like that. My mom never did her due diligence. Where would you even find that information anyway, without like of knowing?
Well, I mean, you'd have to do more. Like we have to do the reading, but the reading is more accessible to us because of the internet.
Right, but where would you find it at later on? Like some scientific, you would find it in maybe some
Yeah,
scientific
and some of these
journal.
studies are newer enough to where our parents didn't have access to them.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, now that we have it, this goes to the difference between ignorance and stupidity. Like, I'll shoot our parents bail. You know what? You didn't have the information. Cool. Hey, we all assumed that juice was more healthy than soda. That's not necessarily the case. We all assumed that certain things that were called low fat were healthier than regular shit. There's new studies out that's like, no, that's not the case. So because y'all didn't know that was ignorance, cool. Now we have a childhood obesity problem. Now it's on us. We have the information. Now it's our turn to change it for the next generation. But like many things in this country, I see just a big split between the haves and have-nots in all different facets of life. One thing being, hey, I think working out and being healthy is trendier than it's ever been. You see all these health companies, health snacks, all that other shit, but also the obesity rate is worse than it's ever been. And it's like a big fucking just, you're either this or you're that. There's not a whole lot in the middle. And
not a lot of people striving to be that.
And it's probably not going to change. It's just going to be like, hey, I trust the information, I get it, and I'm going to do that. Versus, I can't kick it. And I get it, it's tough.
Yeah, it's a weird world we live in. Oh, the average length of courtship before marriage is 2 years. I beat that time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we didn't get married till about 2 years after we had kids and shit.
But you got to stretch it out. I mean, because the people like us, like I got married, 6 years in? Those are the ones that got to stretch out the average from the 90-day fiancés that get married right away, right?
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of people that get married quick and a whole lot of people that wait.
I waited to get married, but I didn't wait to have kids. And I remember talking about that. Like I was more comfortable with having kids with somebody than actually being married to them. I was
opposite.
Yeah, I'm cool. That logic to me is so far based on our new society.
I understand both sides, but I would just more because I was so like, I get it, the married thing, it's a business transaction and blah, 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 blah. Like all that shit has real repercussions and all this stuff. Like I get that. But having a kid meant so much to me that I was so worried about it. Like it had to be with the person to where, yeah, like all that other shit just didn't matter to me.
I don't know. It's hard, bro. Because I feel like, the business contract. Because one thing I did understand is that if you're living with someone and you're married with them and and like now you got your finances are intertwined, right? It's now hard as it's ever going to be to get away from that person. Anyone who I had ever ran into in the type of jobs that I've worked or whatever, where they were in the relationship and they lived together and they owned a house, or they were married at least, and they lived together in the house, I'm like, yo, that shit seems very miserable about you trying to get out that house.
But in a sense, isn't that the type of situation? I don't want to say you want, because you're just focusing on the misery of it, but don't you want somebody that invested and that kind of locked up?
Hence why I wait more than 2 years to get married.
To have the kid with? Yeah. But I'm saying that goes against what you were just saying.
But see, your age and my age was different too, though. I was 28. You were what, 20? 21? When you first got together with her?
Yeah, but I mean...
But you had time to bullshit. Like, for me, it was like, well, fuck, if I would spend 3 years waiting on this shit and then having kids after. I'm about to be like 33 when I'd be my age right now. I have a 2-year-old. I'd be fucking miserable right now. The way my body be aching, that like I just be like, yeah, you know what?
But you're not that far off. She's not fucking 16.
But 5 and 2 is a big difference. My homie just about to have a baby tonight.
I'm not saying
tonight. Shout out to my boy Duran. He
damn,
got a second
already?
son. Yeah.
Time's
They
flying.
did. Well, now he got to schedule it.
But I mean the fact that it's already due.
Yeah.
So I felt like
I saw her last week though. She looked like she was ready. Like, yo, I'm ready for this shit to be over with. If this is the last time I had a face.
Heard that.
That was definitely
Go ahead
the
and
one
tie
for
them
the
things
ages.
together while you down there.
Cows moo in different accents.
I heard that before.
That's pretty fire. Like yo, like
you ever heard of Baltimore cow?
nah.
Mew. Mew.
Oh, I don't think most people know that. The only reason why I know that is because of rap. Like Baltimore accents, there's nothing else out of Baltimore that I think is like super fire and great besides maybe the Ravens.
Or The Wire.
Come on, man. See, now you aging yourself.
Aging myself? The Wire, the Ravens been longer than The Wire.
It's almost a 30-year-old show.
The Ravens got there in 96.
Football is still relevant every year, though.
The Wire's always relevant.
Yes, to you.
Remember
that 50 Cent thing I showed you? I sent Alex, I sent Lex a video of a dude rapping with his son in the car, the Mini Man. He said, "Oh, he rapping that shit. Play that shit again." I was like, "This is Lex and his son G on the way to school. All he wanted to do was go to his school in his nice, safe suburban neighborhood. And here come his dad forcing him to listen to Mini Man." Hip hop was coined by Keith Cowboy, a member of Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5, as a chant. A hip, a hop, a hibbit to the hibbit said a hip hop, hibbit it don't stop a rocking.
Look at you.
The evolution. Come on, man, I know this. Don't do this. I just make fun of y'all for like riding around to it right now, like that.
I don't go that far back. Hip hop for me starts about 87, 88.
Which is crazy though, because like the bop, you know. I guess we could get into that a little bit. I'll save that because I started watching my shows to watch is going to be Starting 5 on Netflix. You get a chance to watch it yet?
I just finished Receiver.
Well, we'll get to that eventually. First impressions are usually made in the first 7 seconds of meeting someone. A lot of men filled out this survey. Our first impression has nothing to do with personality type. That first 7 seconds, you getting a good look through. You done looked at some cheeks. You done looked at the face, teeth, shoes, what they got on or whatever. None of that has gotten to their spirit.
Stat? Ain't there a stat for women? Like they know within the first like few minutes if they're gonna fuck them or not.
I didn't come across that one. I can ask ChatGPT the next time I do it.
Don't do that, man.
But I'm 7 seconds. How long you need
for a first impression?
Yeah. Not for you. Like on your side, if you saw a woman, what are the things you notice in the first 7 seconds? Are they physical things or are they personality?
I mean, in the first 7 seconds, it has to be physical. You can't really showcase any personality to me within 7 seconds unless you're in the middle of doing some shit. I'm like, yo, that's a no.
I wonder if that's the same for women. I'm gonna put that. I gotta remember that because, like, yo, like the things we look at, women don't look at that. They're like, oh, look at this bulge. Not every woman is like that. Like most men that I meet. You get what I'm saying?
I heard a lot of women say the first thing they look at is shoes.
Why I look at your feet right when you said that?
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, my bad.
Shoes. Yeah, I don't. I think the bulge thing is probably like a split half and half. I would say
maybe eyes, facial expression. What are the things I wonder what women look at? I'm gonna ask that on IG, man. I really want to know what that answer is.
I was hoping, like when I was younger, I was like, I hope it's the eyes because I feel like I've gotten compliments on my eyes. I've always been insecure, like, oh, please don't let it be the grill. But you know, obviously that would be a thing.
Side note, Ben is tripping because the way that these girls is playing right now, they are way better than the girls 15 years ago. Look at them. Were they taking over games and shit like that? Oh, my God. Before it used to just look like...
Well, this is also the championship, right? So it's supposed to be the two best teams. You would hope the play would get better once you get to the championship
I'm even
round.
looking at, like, in the Olympics, bro, they was moving a little bit different.
I know, but I feel like when you see the highlights... They're going to show stuff like that, but there's so much when you're actually watching the game that's like, yo, we went to that game, and I was like, hey, there's a reason why this shit's in a high school gym. And they were the champions that we went to see.
I don't think it's...
So the fact that they were Candace Parker got her first ever triple-double. We were in the building, and the stat line was 15, 10, and 10.
That's a normal night in the NBA, is what you say? You still saying they got a long way to go?
Triple-double is a triple-double, right? But, I mean, the shit that we see is like... And that's like her second one, and she was like the leader of all time or some shit like that, right? It's different. I'm not saying none of them can hoop. I'm just saying I understand where Ben's coming from. Maybe I don't deliver it the same way.
I think Angel Reese can do that in a few years, give or take. It takes 6 to 8 dates for people to feel like they are exclusive.
Okay.
My wife told me after date 3, she was like, "Look, man,
we go together.
Yeah, we ain't gonna keep doing what we doing unless you go." And that cutoff fucked me up.
Sounds like she has some wisdom, some prior experience where she's like,
"Yeah, I don't have time for that, young man." That's what she hit me with.
Hey,
young man, is crazy. No, it did work. 6 to 8 is reasonable because
I think that's reasonable.
If I'm hanging out with you once a week, especially like even I'm thinking of me like in college, right? I wasn't going on dates every night, so like if I'm hanging out with you for a month and a half,
you got to give me time to cut off my hose. It don't just happen.
Yeah. Do you want to know about man hose?
No.
All right. Okay.
I'm cool.
All right.
It's an understanding, but I'm also,
great understanding. Go ahead, hit my hand claps.
If I really get my shit off, like the way I be getting humbled in today's days, like, nah, I don't want to know about nothing.
Shows to watch. I've been watching Starting 5 on Netflix. It has Anthony Edwards, LeBron James is in there. Jimmy Butler is also part of that. My man for Sacramento, whose dad played for a while.
Sabonis.
Yeah, Sabonis. I didn't even know his dad was like that dude.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know.
Oh, yeah.
They said...
best rebounder ever in NBA 2K1.
Fam, KG said he said he was the first NBA player that I ever seen sitting in the locker room with his family and a cigar talking shit just... Charles Barkley, I'm better than him.
Oh, yeah.
like he's just getting this shit off. So I was like, oh, that's pretty dope. But yeah, so it's on Netflix. Even documenting, somebody was telling me like I think LeBron had a recent episode on The Shop or something like that, or where Lamar Jackson was on there. Like I was watching LeBron in the actual documentary getting ready for just a preseason game. Bro's got like a workout bench. He's got but also at 40. Like Lamar was like, yo, I usually show up like an hour or like a couple hours before.
Yeah, he got to it's like a whole day.
Yeah, LeBron's like, yo, I got to spend the whole day getting my body ready to go through the misery about 48 minutes that I'm about to go through right now.
And the thing is, I think that's always been the case for him. He might not have needed the whole day, but I think he did that type of prep work anyway, which is how he got the longevity.
Right.
The famous thing of him spending $1 million a year on his body, just in general. And yeah, I can't imagine, we hear the stories of like, or, we've all played sports. I don't know about your teammates and shit, but they would show up an hour before game time, smoke a blunt, do whatever, and they would ball.
What kind of team you had?
Well, I mean,
mine is a hand-eye coordination sport. They're not really.
But in football and basketball, they were balling.
Yeah.
And I just didn't understand it because at the time I'm just like, yo. Again, the white jeans where I was like, man, that shit's fucking impressive. I can't get away with that. Even in a pickup game when I was younger.
That is true. Dudes used to bullshit the stretches.
If it's summertime, and we running not just fives, but we running like up at the rec, and we running for like 3 or 4 hours. And in between games, you just knock out a 16-ounce can of Pepsi, and you are just good to go. And I'm over here cramping on the side.
Yeah.
Because I had a Gatorade.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That shit is nuts.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. I don't know, man. That's
I do like the I do like those documentaries. You know, the kids are obviously into them now. Quarterback was good. Like I said, I just finished receiver.
Yeah, I found out Chris loves Justin Jefferson. Never knew that.
Oh yeah, that's the kids. That's their god right now.
Yeah,
at football
I
practice,
think it's the Brady
right?
shit, huh?
At football practice right now, that's the big thing where it's a Justin Jefferson versus Randy Moss generation, and they just both happen to be Vikings. And I sat G down after episode of receiver once, and it was just me and him.
Is that why he wears 18 in reverse?
Who?
Justin Jefferson. What number is Randy Moss? 81?
84.
Oh,
he was
never
81
mind.
on the Patriots. But
There we
he's
go. Okay,
84.
I was about to say.
They had just put a bunch of the old 30 for 30s on Netflix, and I was like, I'm about to show you Randy Moss right now. We watched his. Probably not the best documentary to show you, like,
Yeah,
because
because he's sitting in this country and shit.
But
in the country. And you know his tone is not like that's not.
But I tell them, like, because they do this thing. The kids, like, we grew up, and when you did that, you said, "Oh, you got mossed." There's 3 people, you catch it over them. This is what these kids today, they call it head top. You got head topped. I'm like, don't ever do that again. You say it,
but you sound like a dinosaur because
no,
now
I know,
you seem
but
out of touch.
I'm letting my kids know this is what it really means. Justin Jefferson is cool.
You know how like Joe talk about his dad listening to Pete. I mean,
That's
like
fine.
loving Pistol Pete and shit. Like that's what you sound
No.
like.
You can love Justin Jefferson, and Justin Jefferson is him.
I told you the other day, my daughter thought that like the time period we grew up in, that we had black and white TV.
I know, but that's why I like.
That's
my
how far
kids,
removed they are.
My kids listen to music from a certain time frame. My kids know players.
I'm trying to tell you the reverse of that, though. It's like when you say that, that's like your kids being those older, like how I always look at like older Mexican people when they listen to 92.5 and know all the same songs. Like that's the same thing. It's like they're growing up on an older era.
No, but it's also being
Boss Man D-Lo is in right now.
But it's being students of whatever you're into, right?
I understand.
Not saying because right now, because they don't know, like Zeke is 6. The first quarterback that comes to mind for him is Brock Purdy, and I'm like, what? But it's like he sees him on TV a lot. He's on receiver because, you know, they got 2 Niners on there.
And the crazy part is, do you think Brock Purdy's that good?
Not to be the first thing you think of.
Yeah,
and the second person he thinks of is Justin Fields. Now, I understand why he thinks of Justin Fields.
Nasty.
But it's like, yo.
They don't identify with Patrick Mahomes?
And Patrick Mahomes,
okay.
Right? But it's like, you think of one because you see him a lot. You think of Justin Fields because he's on our team. And then Mahomes, rightfully so. But you have to know, like, these people that are coming before you to really appreciate. Like, the thing about the adults, when we argue at practice, right? We started arguing Randy Moss versus Jerry Rice. And
that's some real old shit.
It is old shit now. Everyone's like, how could anyone say Jerry Rice is not better? Like, I'm that person. Randy Moss is better than Jerry Rice. I can totally understand the other side, and most people, the majority of people, will not agree with me. But I think the people who do, we understand why, and we're okay with it. I'm not going to die on the hill because, hey, Jerry Rice is him. He played longer, the work ethic, better route runner, whatever you want to say. And I only got to see the back half of Jerry Rice. I saw all of Randy Moss. And so it's kind of like Kobe versus Jordan thing, right? I saw the back half of Jordan. I get it. But I saw all of Kobe. I saw all LeBron. I feel like I can weigh in better on stuff like that. And yeah, so I just tell him, just like we watched this whole thing, it was like 3 years ago. We watched the Barry Bonds documentary. And they're watching. I was like, that's the greatest baseball player ever lived. And to this day, you know, they're more, especially nowadays when they hop on the Padres, they're like, oh, Machado and Tatis, and they in the Padres shit. But then, like, he'll ask them, who's the greatest baseball player ever? Oh, Barry Bonds. Never seen him a day in their life.
I always want to know how Barry would fare in this new age, though.
Shit.
They be moving the ball differently. He would be like Shohei to me, like Ohtani. Anyway, none of our listeners give a fuck about what we on right now. Any shows you watching right now?
I watched the new J.Cole stand-up.
You know what? I gave it a good about 15 minutes, and then I fell asleep and never went back to it. It was funny in the beginning.
It's cool, and it's, if you know J.Cole, it's
certain
him.
brand of comedy.
It's him, and I appreciated it. I made it the whole hour. You know, it's not nothing that's gonna like go. It's not going to get talked about a whole lot, but it's like I've seen a lot of bad stand-ups for some people who have a higher profile than him, to where I'm like, nah, this is solid. I liked it. Nothing wrong with it. It's kind of like, oh, you get what you expect. It's like hearing a Pusha T verse, right?
Yeah.
It's high level. I like it. I know what I'm going to get. It might not change, but I always appreciate it.
So, it's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. It's called Mr. Dion. And
did you like it though?
yeah, I liked it.
You laughed the whole time? I feel like his
Most of the time.
stand-ups, like they after about 45 minutes, it's a drop off.
Well, you didn't make it into 45 minutes, so how would you know?
But even then, I've seen his other specials though too. That's what I'm saying. Like it was like, to me, it was like, all right, this is on brand for what he normally does. I ain't missing nothing too crazy.
Yeah, it's like you're not missing nothing too crazy, but when you do hear it, you're just like, oh, I liked it.
And that's crazy because you know what? I think like when Netflix goes and have their meetings, right back to the old talk, like we are the demographic he's shooting for.
Yeah.
Most of these kids get all their comedians and shit from online.
Yeah, and I don't think
they're invested
I think the
in Netflix
younger comedians is less stand-up or it's more crowd work. They like the impromptu, you're messing with the crowd the whole time, like 85 South does it.
Yeah, I went to that. That was pretty funny.
What's the big dude right now? The white dude, Matt Strife. He's a big crowd work dude right now, and that's kind of like how you get in.
Have you seen him?
Yeah.
He's funny?
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
Okay.
I get it. But yeah, it's obviously it's a different type of comedy. I don't think that type of comedy can be ahead of someone who can actually do like a real stand-up, because that is the hardest art form to me of all of it.
It's a dinosaur thing
to where
do, though.
Anybody who's like good, like a Drewski or someone like that, anyone who's like real life funny, you can do crowd work.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's easy, even if you are funny, because there is a skill to it, but I think it's a lot easier to develop than it would be to write like an hour worth of material.
Yeah.
To keep everybody engaged.
That's hard to do.
Right.
Yeah, but like I said, I think that's an old art form of comedy now, because shit, even now, like these kids will sit here and watch that kid Kai Cenat for 4 hours on the stream.
Yeah, they like to watch people commentate about other things, right? And that's kind of crowd workish. I'm commentating what I see right now. I'm just gonna talk about your outfit, talk about whatever, who you with, what you do, and it's all in the moment and right then and there. Versus
now, some of that shit's entertaining.
No, it's not bad.
Man, it's
I just don't think if they're both at its height, that one is still way better than the other.
Like when Kai was out there making, even Deep Side, who's been trying to get in here with us or whatever, that's part of one of the messages she sent me. She was like, she ranked off like 5 dudes that like wanted to come on. I'm like, why are they hitting you up? You ain't been here the last couple of weeks. You know what I mean? Like they could have came while we gone. I was like, something's weird about that. Not saying I ain't got no issues with it. That boy, he be having Jalen Hurts be putting the girls in a frenzy, boy.
Man,
got Adele saying that's a fine young man.
Damn, I wish I'd give it. Hey, damn, one day. Oh, it would have been perfect, especially because she said that right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard something similar recent too, and
he's the one. He's the Shamar Moore of this era. That's him. But yeah, yeah. So Kai was
not him.
No, Kai was doing. He was doing a review of Yeezy. And he said, "Oh, these shits don't fit
shoes?
right." Yeah, no, it was like a clothing piece of whatever that Kanye
homeless
had.
clothes.
Yeah, but he was like, "Yo, the shit don't fit right." Blah blah blah. Kanye sent him a message like, "Yo, don't play with me." He's like,
I feel it. No, because like, yo, your words mean something. Don't fuck around with me.
Yeah, look, that's just cool. But when Kanye do this, shit's just funny to me.
Yeah,
I don't know why. It's him. Hit my hand claps and see where we at on time.
I don't know where you stopped at Love Is Blind too this season.
You want to do a Love Is Blind recap? We can do that. How many episodes deep are you right now?
I think our listeners are more caught up than I am because I don't binge.
Yeah.
But I watch like one a day.
What episode you on right now?
They're about to leave Cabo.
Okay, shit get a little. Hey, look, at first I didn't have a lot of faith. There was like yo, the first 3 episodes was really solid, and then 4 and 5 and 6 was kind of like Okay, like, can y'all get to Mexico already? Can we get outside and see what the problems are? Because some of these couples that are pairing up right now, they don't look like they go together. I think the last time we ended on this, you got my real estate guy and old girl that quit her job. They would not be together in the real world.
They don't want to be together. Well, at least where I'm at, because she was hating on him for the old lady.
Yeah.
Doing the horse thing.
I don't think it was that bad. I just don't think that their personalities collide.
No, yeah, because she's
like, that don't feel off to you.
She's not dope, and he's
kind of corny.
Yeah, but I'm not even gonna put that on him because there's somebody for everybody. But she, like the way she like came at him, like, oh, he portrayed himself to be so much more than he appears.
He told
to
you
be.
He was a kicker. I don't know too many big ass kickers.
That's where like anybody who's always like, yo, he said he was a kicker.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he's whatever. And then she said, oh yeah, he said he was taller than me. He said he was 5'11", and I'm taller than him. I'm looking at him. You guys are the same height. You're wearing heels. You said you're 5'9". He looks to be about 5'11". And since when? I don't know too many girls who complain about 5'11".
Right.
Now I understand that 6 hits a little different.
But
once
she's a
you
big
get
girl
there.
too, though.
Yeah, but I mean,
I've ventured down that type of milk too before. That's, just even looking at her brings back a little bit of trauma. Boy. Yeah, I was like, yo, what was I on, man? I was just out here. Hey. Sometimes this is what I'm telling you. Your kids gotta go through
You want me
shit.
to break it down?
No, don't, Dr. Umar. Yeah, don't call him on me. Do not call him. But yeah. So then you got that. Then you got. There's a girl on there. You haven't got that far. Then one of those girls, they get to her house and it's like hoarders damn near. Like she got shit everywhere. And I was like, yo, like this is like real life to me where it's like, yo, you present a certain way.
I think I can guess who that is because I think she made a comment about that.
Ethnicity?
Is it a black couple?
Yeah.
Okay. I know who it is.
Yeah, all right. Hey.
Because she had made mention when he started talking about, something about, is that your corner? And he's like, no, my corner gonna be my corner. Whatever you do in your corner is in your business. Because she's like, yeah, because I have like a bunch. Oh, wait, no, that was a different couple. Never mind. I still guessed it right. Yeah. But yeah. It was something about being messy. I could tell by the way you packed. Some shit like that.
Oh, yeah. And it shouldn't, but then when you see her dad, this is why I'm telling you, like, look, you get to see it in some of these families, right? When they got older, these was the kids whose parents did everything for them. These is definitely the kids whose parents did everything for them. Now, luckily, Chris got a little bit of OCD because, like, bro, just wake up and clean his shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was total opposite across the hall, right? So it's like I be sitting up there like, yo, you're not about to be living like this. But nah, I just wanted them to get. Now they get into it because some of these dudes is acting up. Some of these women is acting up.
And that's the thing, right? Like the internet done spoiled a whole bunch of like, because they be investigating the outside life and shit. So
yeah, I'll stay
a lot of that shit's already. I haven't gotten it, but I got people around me that are like just TikTok aficionados, and they got the whole thing down. Like
I ain't doing all that.
And I'm like, dang, you can't even like.
But I don't even open my phone like that. If somebody sent me something, I'll probably look at it like mindlessly. Like I told you, I spend most of my day trying to get to one place by 5.
But maybe it just I came off of UK and it was just kind of dry. But yeah, this season's been more than enough for me because I'm a big hater of love.
Yeah,
like I don't want to see any of the couples that are like flowing is flaw. Get the fuck out of here.
Look, the black love couples, I'm fucking with them.
Yeah,
and then they're gonna tell me it don't look like there's a lot of black people. I said there's about 3-4 couples.
Oh, in this season? Oh no, they was getting to it.
They got a lot of black couples.
Yeah,
more than ever actually. It's usually one, and I'm still waiting on the. We've only got one connection like this where you had the black soccer dude and the girl, and they was in Seattle.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to see more of those matchups, but here's the deal:
she's hella white, and he's like African black.
But that's why that worked. But like, I'm waiting on one of us, right?
But you were watching her the whole time. Like, she gonna slip up and let me know who she is.
I think he knew though, like tone wise, like them.
No. I'm talking about like. I thought when they got together, it was gonna be like, some sort of like inherited racism might just peek through or whatever. It was like, no, she really fucked with that dude. They're still together, I think.
Yeah, I think they trying to have kids and shit. So that's weird, man. Like I just want to see it though, because I know like if I get in there, I was telling my wife, I was like, yo, if I get in there, and it would be in a room this size. That's the crazy part, right? So you in a room this size, someone's on the other end. However it comes through, because I'm sure it doesn't come through like how we get the audio. right? It could be sounding just like this. You get what I'm saying? You talking in like a padded room. But I hear the voice like, hello? And I'd be like, oh, shit. How you doing? My name's Karl. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, yo, like, my family ain't going for this shit. Or if I got on there and I was like, yo, what's up? She's like, oh, no. Oh, my God. Like, my dad is not going to like this.
Yeah, and, you know, some of the shit that was getting on, I'm like, yo, and maybe the internet did talk about it, and I just didn't. But I'm like, hey, did she just say what I think she just said? Like, oh, what is one thing you love about me? Oh, I love the fact that you're so proud that you're barely black. And I was like, what? And then they started getting into percentages, and I was like, the last thing you should say is 3/5. And I was like, bro, but y'all was getting that shit off.
The black girl with the white dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? You gonna see her mom, and that's gonna change everything for you.
I don't care who her mom is. The fact they were getting that type of shit off, I was like, yo.
Listen, you gonna see her mom and want.
I don't believe in them.
You gonna call somebody up and be like, yo, my bad. Because it's way worse.
No, yeah, I'm not saying it don't get worse, but I'm just saying
she was in there haggling my man down to get a prenup.
That's fine.
Like, no. She was like, yo, you ain't really work for shit in life.
Because you just an electrician?
Yeah, no, that was another girl, my bad. I'm talking about the one that's with Aladdin.
Medium Sean?
I don't know what he is.
You talking Medium Sean?
Yeah, what is he? He's like Indian, right?
I don't know. He look black to me.
I don't know.
Based on his last name,
I told you we about to get to a point where we're going to be guessing what people are later on, man. As time progresses. 3 cheers. Let's get up out of here, man. I've been on this, man, because, you know, extreme weathering is a big deal, man. But this past week on Thursday, Hurricane Milton crashed down through the state of Florida. A lot of people affected. It's real nasty. If anybody that lives in Florida or California, man, these insurance companies, man, they backing out because of these disasters. And if y'all paying attention to like your political stuff, man, Trump was just in California anyway, talking about he's not going to give fire relief to, you know, victims in California in an attempt to strong arm Gavin Newsom because he hates him. You know, it's real nasty, man. But like, continue to try to, you know, donate to relief efforts, you know, ones that are applicable or ones that you trust. A lot of families, man, with these insurance companies and such, they're not going to be able to get their homes back, you know. But, you know, at the same time, also, it's so nasty now that you got people going online telling you they ain't leaving. You know what I mean? Like setting the wrong tone. A category 4, you know, hurricane sweeping through, like that shit tears roofs off. You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, I'm not messing with those.
And I don't think people understand just how much deadlier it gets when you go up 1, right? And I think I might have talked about this a couple years ago when it comes to like the Richter scale with like earthquakes, just how much more powerful it is when you go up just 1. It's even worse with hurricanes. Like you called it a 4, it's definitely a 5. And that makes a world of difference. And that's the thing, right? I think a lot of these people I ain't leaving. Historically, they're from Florida and places like that, and they're used to waiting out the storm and like, yo, I got it. And
not knowing that they
a lot of times, most of the time, they're correct. But that shit ain't sweet no more. This is one of those, like, it ain't about how tough you are. You are going to die. Not because you're not tough, but because this shit ain't nothing to play with no more. Right. There isn't you can toughen this one out. You know what I mean? It's not telling G to get up because you know, he tackled someone and someone stepped on his hand, and it's like, oh, some kids are gonna leave the game for good and some are gonna toughen it out and play with the hand injury. This is, yo, somebody came through and stepped on my leg and it has to be amputated type of shit. That's how, like, no type of toughness is going to get you to finish this out. Just, I don't think we have a whole bunch of Florida listeners, but if we do, I would like to think that they are in the know and they agree with us. Get the fuck out of Dodge, man.
I honestly feel like, too, like, people need to start reading up on what the categories even mean. right? They have to do with like how much damage that those wind speeds can do to structures, people, cars, you know, shit like that. Like that's what they entail. So it's not just like, oh, because it's the wind speed. No, it's like when they build buildings and shit like that, there's certain buildings that can't withstand certain types of disasters, right? And that's why, you know, it's important to know, like, oh, is my building at risk? You know, or if you know people that live in Florida and all these places, man, even Carolina that's been affected. So, you know, yeah, well, I don't even think we're still in the middle of it. Like there could be another one that's coming, you know, forming. All you need is, you know, the right amount of wind going in a certain direction and a little bit of heat, and them shits is coming in, and the world is getting hotter.
Because it would take a while, because you don't see Category 5s too often. So to have them back to back like this, like similar to other stuff, this is going to be the new normal. We are now going to get to, all right, I'm going there. We are now going to get to the space to where places that should have never been appropriate to build on for people to live in the long run, it's about to become more apparent. We are now going to see, you know, I'm not going to say tomorrow, but it's going to become clear now that there will be certain areas of, you know, I'll stick to our country for now. There will be certain areas where it's just, you cannot live here. It makes zero sense. Insurance companies will back away completely. There's no reason to build here. It will get blown away every single year. And certain cities will just up and disappear because of that. That's what's next.
Oh, we're going to get the fuck up out of here.
Shout out to whoever operated on Scarface.
Oh, he had another one?
It was an emergency one, and I didn't bring it up because I didn't want to put nothing in the universe, but it had me scared for a good 3 weeks because I had no follow-up. I didn't know what was going on.
Nothing.
And then he just popped out of nowhere like, yo, I'm good.
Did he say what it was? His kidney?
No, it wasn't that. It was something. I forgot what he said. I don't think he made a whole bunch of detail, but he did say something.